we've been...
Well, that was Kate McKinnon exiting SNL last night. A final episode for quite a few of the current cast actually, but I thought her exit was quite clever, funny, and you can see she's actually quite emotional. Sorry I'm not showing you the whole sketch, but obviously I don't own the copyright for that, so I didn't want to get into trouble. Very interesting to see where these guys are going to go now, because if you're from my generation, you remember the first original cast of SNL, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, who came on later. All of those guys, when they left SNL, went into the kind of 80s comedy movies that shaped the 80s in terms of their comedy stylings and everything, and they made a tremendous influence on comedy from the 1980s all the way up to the 90s and kind of beyond that as well. But then you look at the cast who were with stars like Eddie Murphy, and a lot of that cast from that era didn't go on to do anything particularly remarkable, apart from Eddie Murphy and a few others. There were some others in there who never really kind of seemed to kind of rise above it. You know, it's interesting, so I'll be curious to see what happens. Right now on social media, Kate McKinnon seems to be leading the way in getting most of the love, above Pete Davidson, who's the other big star who's leaving. And I think, you know, going out there, she'll probably be able to make some movies and hopefully some will be successful. I'll be curious to know what happens to Pete Davidson. I think he's definitely going to get those big solo movies, but whether it'll continue, I don't know, because I think it depends on what happens with him and Kim, and does that progress, does it not progress? What if one of them gets into trouble and it influences the other's career? I don't know, it could happen. Very curious to see what happens. But right now, Kate McKinnon leads the way in terms of social media love. Lots of people saying, well, she actually carried the show. I preferred her to Pete Davidson, etc., etc. And maybe Pete Davidson has kind of been overshadowed by the whole Kim thing. I don't know. What are your opinions? Who do you think is going to succeed? Thanks for watching, and goodbye.